Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Danberg. Number 1 Ohio State continues to prepare to face number 2 Indiana in the Big Ten Championship game Saturday at 8 from Indianapolis. It's the first 1 versus 2 major conference title game since Alabama-Florida in 2009. More Buckeye Athletics men's hockey hosts Minnesota at 8. Hear it on the Fan 2 at 7:45. NHL Blue Jackets host the Red Wings at 7:30. Coverage on the Fan begins at 7. NBA Cavs are off after a 122-110 loss to the Trailblazers Wednesday. In the NFL, 2 potential NFC playoff teams clash when the Cowboys visit the Lions at 8:15. High school football state championship weekend starts with Avon and Anderson in the Division II title tonight at 7 from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton. Up next, hear the Ryan Day Show right here on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
From Learfield, this is the Ryan Day Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics. Now, along with head coach Ryan Day and former OSU All-American Jim Lachey, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
And thanks for joining us for this week's show as Ohio State gets ready to go to the Big Ten Championship game in Indianapolis to take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Coach Day, thanks for your time as always. Good to see you. And I know that in the summer or even earlier than that, all of the goals get set up, and getting to Indianapolis is one of those big goals that's always up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, we see this as part of the regular season, and we want to finish this the right way. For a lot of reasons. I think the first thing is that we have momentum, and I think anytime you have momentum, you want to keep it. And that's the first thing. Second thing is, this is one of the goals, is to win the Big Ten championship, to get to Indy and then win it. And then the last reason is, we want to be the 1 seed going in. There's significant advantages to being the 1 seed, and when you're trying to chase a championship, everything matters. So the guys have been locked in, and really had a good focused week and need a great day today.
Coach, last week you got a chance to prove that you are a physical football team. It might have been in the minds of some people that didn't agree with that, but you went out there and demonstrated that for 4 quarters. And the way the offensive line was able to take over in that game, especially that 20-play drive, the way the defense was able to dominate, to hold Michigan to 3 punts and an interception there in the second half, 38 yards. It was a dominant physical performance by your guys, and I know that they set out to do that, and it was good to see that accomplished.
Well, we need to be able to do both. We got to be able to play like this week we're playing indoors. It's going to be a fast track, and we got to be able to roll. And then when it's snowing sideways at the end of November, we got to be able to play that style of game. That's how it works. So I felt like we were able to have a balanced attack on offense. We still pushed the ball down the field. We needed to, but also found ourselves in a situation where we're up by a couple scores, and then put a long drive together, and and it'll be in a field goal, but made it a 3-score game, and time of possession was 2-1, and when your defense is playing the way it does, even though you look at the scoreboard and you see what the score is, and it's just a 3-score game, that's a significant lead in a game like that. But and you got to give it to our guys, the physicality that they played with, and the look in their eye, and the way that they attacked from the minute the foot hit the ball was impressive. They were not going to get denied.
You've talked about it a few times, and fortunately it's been very infrequent. But when things haven't gone well, there was no panic on the sideline.
Well, it didn't start the way we wanted to. That's for dang sure. I didn't think it was going to go like that. But it was great to see the defense step up after the long run, hold them to 3 points. That's big in a game like this. And then to turn right around after the interception, I saw guys sprinting on the field. That's a good sign, and then to hold them to 3 points again was big, and then we were able to kind of get ourselves going on offense and get some rhythm. We didn't finish that first drive in a red area, but then we got going, and sometimes in a game like that, that's how it works. And so, like you said, no panic on anybody on the sideline, and we were able to get a rhythm.
Yeah, we were up there too, kind of rolling our eyes like, wait a minute, we haven't seen this team all year,
right.
But you regrouped, and that's you got to credit your team for doing that. Your offensive line, dominant performance, up front. Probably played one of their best games all year. I thought you said 43 knockdowns. A lot of the guys graded out as champion. they do it once, they can do it again, right? They got it on film now. Now they got to go do that each and every game for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and now we got to do it in monster back-to-back games. I know everybody wants to talk about last week, but we're on Indiana, and this has got to be all focused on this. This is the number 2 team in the country right now. They're undefeated. And I think they're playing as good as anybody in the country, and they have a really good team, and we got to be ready to go. So that game's behind us. But like you said, we know what we're capable of, and the goal again is to grade out a champion, grade out over 80% in a matchup game. And if you're doing that part, you're doing your part in order to win the game. So there's a lot of things that can go on and get into a game like this. The atmosphere is going to be electric. It's going to be great, but we got to stay focused on doing our job and playing these games now back to back. And once that game's over with, it's over with, and we got to move on. And that's what happened on Sunday. And so I think our guys are locked into this different opponent, different challenge, different scheme on both sides of the ball, different style of team. So we got to be able to adapt.
As Jim talked about with the offensive line showing what they can do, same for the group of running backs? With the way they've shown what they've done in the last
years?
I
thought Bo played his, longest game in terms of, number of plays. And then, had some really nice runs, made some guys miss, finished some runs, was physical. And then it was good to see CJ get in there, and in that 4-minute drill. I mean, he was running through contact, and so important, that we guys are fresh this time of year. But we're going to need everybody, this week. And, it's good to have depth, especially this time of year.
Brandon Ennis has proved so valuable for this team. Obviously, he was named captain at the beginning of the year. When he had some injuries to wide receiver, he was out there stepping up and still making plays, and made a nice play last week. Was able to get in a little stack concept and break off inside, and Julian put it on the money. But he continues to make big plays, convert third downs, and do whatever it takes to help the team. Returning punts, returning kicks, whatever. He'll go out there and get it done.
Yeah, situational football, as we know, is critical in these games, and third downs. And we got to convert on third down, and he has a great ability to create space inside. He's got good short area quickness. He understands how to set up routes. He's strong in there. He's powerful. And so, whether it's on third down or in the red zone, the red zone third down plays are 4-point plays, as we know. So we got to be good situationally, and he's come up big in those situations for us.
Well, your defense has played at such a high level. How did that long drive help keep those guys as fresh as they needed to be?
Yeah, well, I think the play count was, 74-44 in terms of, our offense on the field and our defense on the field. And when we're controlling the game like that, it's a good deal. And when the defense is getting 3 and outs the way they were in the second half, I mean, that's when you flip the game. And that middle 8, we really did a good job. It wasn't exactly the middle 8 because we did have to punt, but once we got the ball back, we went down and scored. So the drive to end the first half, I think we started with 5 minutes to go and scored a touchdown and gave them the ball back with, I think, 16 seconds or maybe less. And then we got the ball to start the second half, didn't get it, punted it down. We did not down the ball inside the 10-yard line, which is the goal. But the defense got the ball back to the offense at the 43-yard line. That turned into a touchdown. So when you're looking at that little area of the game, that's an important part of the game. And a way to steal possession. We didn't exactly execute the way we wanted to, but when you started and when you left that middle 8, you were in pretty good shape, and the game turned around.
What do you think you need to do to improve your short yardage goal line offense? You had a couple shots down there inside the 5. What do you do to, you settle for a field goal? You always want to get points, but you want to turn those into touchdowns.
Yeah, we've been pretty good all year down there. We've been pretty solid. We did not, in the first drive, do a good job of handling the look down there. We thought they were going to be in a different look, so we were scrambling a little bit, and then had the false start. I thought we had it if we went for it on first down. They were kind of all diving up in there, and we felt like we had an opportunity to throw the ball on the edges because they were just really taking away the run, and we flinched right there, but then that turned into 3 points. So as it comes down to getting movement, but it's the angles, it's the execution, it's the phase, it's all those things. And so we'll work to make sure that we're putting the guys in the right situation, but we also got to score with our man up front.
If you have a question for Coach Day, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at OhioStateBuckeyes.com and click on Ryan Day Show inbox. Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. Saturday, Ohio State faces Indiana in the Big Ten Championship game. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 6:30 p.m. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Paul Keels here, voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeye MVP membership upgrade for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to join the squad and put your fandom in drive. Hey, Buckeye fans, Kroger is teaming up with Ohio State to tackle hunger. Kroger is challenging Buckeye Nation to help donate 2 million meals to our neighbors in need. All you have to do is round up at checkout during your next trip to Kroger or after your next purchase at Ohio Stadium or the Schottenstein Center. The campaign runs through the end of the year, and every dollar helps provide 10 meals. Visit your local Kroger for more details, and let's work together to end hunger.
Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Roosters Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. The team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our weekly show with Coach Ryan Day as Ohio State gets ready for the Big Ten Championship game in Indiana. Time for our 2 Deep Report presented by Elk & Elk. Serious fans of Ohio State athletics, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Go Bucks. Coach, you mentioned the depth at running back. Certainly last weekend we saw something that we've really seen all year. But if you would just talk about not only their running, but what they've done as far as being pass catchers and how they were significant in picking up protections.
Yeah, well, that's a requirement here at running back. You have to have ball skills. You have to be able to run routes out of the backfield. Otherwise, you become one-dimensional, and it puts a lot of stress on everybody else. So, we work hard on that part of the game, and then also the protection becomes critical. So you have to be a three-down back. And when you come to Ohio State, you're coming to develop to be a three-down back, which really increases your value. So all those guys have to be able to do that. They've worked on it hard, and they've become weapons out of the backfield for us.
That's one thing Coach Loughlin drills almost every week, right? I mean, blitz pickup, and that's not a fun drill because you got a guy running at you from 4 or 5 yards, and you got to sit there and deliver a punch and deliver a hit, and then keep your feet and keep your head up. And those guys have proved that they can do that now. And it's not an easy block, but they've found a way to get it done.
Well, I think the first thing is you have to recognize who you're up against. If it's a guy that wants to come right down the middle of you, you got to handle that a little different than somebody who's trying to make you miss. But ultimately, everybody watches film, and we say every time you're either putting strength or weakness on film. And if you're getting beat or run over, guess what? They're coming. So you better put strength on film. And blitz pickup is something that we take very serious here, and it's a really important part of our offense.
When we think about strength and what your defensive line has done, last Saturday was a great example, but really the whole season, how that seems to come, Coach, from all different points.
Yeah. Our defensive line is so critical. It's going to be here. This in this game right here. Everyone's got to do their job. The thing about this team is they force you to, everyone to do their job and everybody to execute at a high level. One guy's out of a gap or one guy's not doing their job, they're explosive and they'll make you pay. It's the same thing on the other side of the ball. If one guy's not handling the movement right or not fitting up the right way, not making their block, they can make it look foolish and get some TFLs and create turnovers. This is the number one team in the country in turnover margin. So we've got to be on our stuff, and everyone's got to do their job and make sure that they're disciplined and using their technique.
Yeah, plus 17 in the turnover margin, very impressive. Your D-line, I thought, did a great job this week and really all year of shedding blockers. I mean, they were throwing guys to the side, coming off and making plays. That's something that's got to continue. I know Larry Johnson does a great job working with that each and every week, but then you got to go out and get it done, and those guys were able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of the game is your hands, and that goes back to your fundamentals and your technique and your foundation. And, you know, when you get in games like this, it's not easy, but it is simple usually, and a big part of that is your hands. So on offense, you know, we got to glue to the blocks, and on defense, we got to get off of blocks. And that's it. I mean, those are your tools that you got to utilize, and it's a big part of your game on both sides of the football. But you're right. You know, in that game, we did a nice job of using our hands.
Our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. We start with Stan from Coshocton asking, knowing it's two completely different teams, but how much are you able to take away from last year's matchup against Indiana?
Not a whole lot. I mean, it's a different team. I mean, we look at everything, and we will look at the last year's film and continue to look at this year's film and what they've done. But this is a different team. They've upgraded in a lot of areas. You know, they're year two into you know, the coaches' you know, schemes, and so you know, the quarterback's really playing at a high level. So you know, there's things that we can look at from there. But we know, and we have a lot of respect for this opponent, and we know it's going to be a battle.
Brian Haynes, our defensive coordinator, I think has done a fantastic job, you know, doing that for Indiana. And, you know, I think what makes their team go is their linebackers. They're very active. They fly around, they get to the ball, and they're good tacklers. How do you counteract what they're doing there?
Yeah, well, they see things, and they're fast, and they're quick, and they're an explosive defense. I mean, they are moving every single play, and they are quick, and they do a great job with their hands. So, you know, do a good job in their zone drops. And so, you know, we've got to be, you know, very in tune with that. You know, we have to expect the movement and the quick and the twitch, and we're trying to, you know, rep that right now with our scouts to try to replicate what we're going to see on Saturday.
Your tight ends continue to be a factor through the course of the whole season. They certainly were last week. If you would just talk about how they have given you the kind of mileage that you've wanted, especially when your wide receivers get the attention that they get.
Well, they give us versatility. So you get the lineup in 13 and 12 personnel the way we needed to in the second half of that game. It allows us the opportunity to do that and turn it into what it was. But it also, you know, creates a matchup for us in other groupings where you saw it, you know, a couple weeks ago. We got Max on some different routes where he was up on a linebacker or a safety when maybe some of the outside guys are getting some of the attention. So, yeah, I mean, those guys can create explosive plays and create up a matchup issue for us inside, but also allow us versatility in how we're attacking the defenses.
That's probably the most physical blocking I've seen those tight ends do last week. And, you know, that's something obviously it's got to carry over. Those guys are, you know, getting some knockdowns themselves. And generally, you know, if your tight end moves a guy or stays on him, that's good enough. But to be how physical they were, I mean, knocking down defensive tackles, putting them on their back, that had to be fun to watch that film.
No, they were highly motivated, I can tell you that. And they need to be highly motivated this week. That's it. Again, different style of defense, but we want the same thing. But man, they were into it, huh? You know, just to watch the way that those guys were rolling, and so it has to continue. You know, and again, momentum. We got to keep this momentum going. So, again, I don't want to talk too much about last week, but we know what they can do, and that's the expectation.
You had Carnell, you had Jeremiah back. That certainly is a plus for any offense. Those guys stepped up. Now this week, Jeremiah is going against an old high school teammate, Jangelo Pounds. You know, those guys know each other from a long way. You know, they went against each other last year. I think Jeremiah had 3 catches in the game last year. How do you look at that matchup when you got that outside? Because he's a good corner. He's not the biggest guy, but he is steady. He's fast, and he plays really, really hard.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. Yeah, Pons has become one of the better players in the country, and certainly a great player in the Big Ten Conference. Yeah, you know, they do play some man-to-man, and they'll match you up, but they also play a lot of zone, and so, you know, he's a good zone player, and he's really sticky in man-to-man. So, you know, really talented player, and so we just got to, you know, recognize what they're in and, you know, space it out versus zone and run away against man-to-man.
When you think about what Carnell Tate has done, especially we look at the stats as far as his average per touchdown catch, is he a guy that really has set himself apart as the way he's able to separate from defenders?
Yeah, well, he's a good route runner. He's smooth. He's strong. He's powerful. He's got strong hands. Even some of the, like I think about the play that he made right before he caught the touchdown pass. It was just on a hitch, maybe not looked like much, but as he caught it, he leaned back into the defender and fought for another couple yards. I think it made it 2nd and 3 as opposed to 2nd and 6. Now it's 2nd and 3, and so that gives us a lot more options. And it's just funny how that stuff works. And I think about the touchdown pass he caught in the Texas game. He came around, he blocked Colin Simmons on that play. It was a counter play. It wasn't designed that way, but he was in his way, and Carnell threw his stuff in there. Next play, he caught a double move for a touchdown. And so he's become a complete player, in my opinion.
I know you've watched a lot of Indiana film on defense, but their offense has been very impressive. Obviously, Mendoza at quarterback has been a great addition, and then they had a good one last year, and they might have even upgraded that a little bit. They got Hembia there at running back. He seems to be a great addition. What do you see out of this Indiana offense and what they've been able to do successful all year?
Well, they stay on schedule. They don't take a lot of negative plays. They create separation in man-to-man, and they do a really good job of putting guys in conflict in the RPO game. So Mendoza's in the middle of it all. He does a nice job of getting the ball out. He's accurate. He's athletic, in my opinion. And the receivers are doing a great job. They make plays when they get challenged, and you can just tell that they understand their scheme at a high level. And he's the guy in charge, making good decisions.
And not that your linebackers haven't faced this already, but if you would talk about the challenge they have with a quarterback that can hurt you getting out and running.
Well, yeah. I mean, the minute it all breaks down, I mean, that's the X factor in the game. And you've seen him do that in games, is Mendoza. He'll do it in the run game, but he'll also scramble, and he just keeps coming at you. He's taken some shots this year, and he keeps playing, and so you can tell he's tough, and he's the leader of this team.
Had a couple of defensive pass interference calls last week against our cornerbacks. Obviously, you don't like to have those. What do you tell those guys? What do they have to do this week to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think that's important because I think that is part of the game. In the man-to-man is that they'll take their shots down the field, and if they don't hit them, if there's contact made and they get a PI, they feel like that gives them a chance to get a first down. So we have to have poise at the top of the routes. We do. We're doing a good job of being sticky and staying on them, which is going to be a challenge. I mean, we're going to have to cover these guys. They do a great job. They're fast, they're explosive, and they know how to run routes at a high level. But when we get to the top of the route, we just have to have poise. And make sure that we're not just over aggressive at the top. Now we're going to be aggressive. That's just the way it is, and I like the approach that we have. But we all know that once we get to that top of the route, we have to have the composure to get the PBU and not create contact.
How's the growth of Lorenzo Styles as the nickelback kind of help that whole picture?
Yeah, he's an older statesman now. He's been around this team for a while, and he's been around football for a while. He knows what it looks like. He's very mature in his approach, very serious about his approach, and he'll be a big part of this game.
You're going to have C.J. Hicks back. Malik Hartfield will have an opportunity to play. How would you work with those guys in, or would those be guys that would step up and get some special teams? It seems like they've worked on that during the time that they weren't out on the field, these last 8 games. Probably an opportunity for those guys to contribute in that way.
Yeah, so, it'll definitely be able to get some special teams reps in there, and then try to figure it out. You get into a rhythm, throughout the season of guys in these roles, and so where it's applicable, we'll kind of fit them back in and get them back into the rhythm of it. But we have a pretty good rhythm going right now, so we'll try to fit it in and make sure it's right. But we also don't want to mess up any rhythm that we have going on. If the guys have been doing their job at a high level, we want to continue to build off of that. So CJ's a really good special teams player, so we'll make sure that he has the opportunity to help the team.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer set sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray, an intimate ship with an even better experience, all inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail from Fort Lauderdale to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas with many former Buckeye greats. Call 614-792-6204 to book today. And we'll have more with Coach Day in our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. with local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs. Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
New creamy parm pizzas are now at Donato's. A decadent new sauce on 2 delicious new pizzas. Try the crave-worthy chicken veggie parm with roasted chicken, fresh veggies, and that rich creamy parm base. Or the savory bacon spinach parm, where smoky bacon meets fresh spinach for parm pizza perfection. Craving something different? Create your own creamy parm pizza today. Donato's. Gotta love more.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Time for our Inside Access with Kroger. Hey, Buckeye Nation, let's help tackle hunger by donating 2 million meals this season. You can help end hunger by rounding up during your next trip to Kroger or at the Schottenstein Center concession stands. Come on, Bucks, let's tackle hunger. And welcome back to this week's show with Coach Ryan Day as Ohio State gets ready for Indiana in the Big Ten Championship game. Coach, some of the Big Ten selections have come out. The defensive all-conference honors came out last week. Caleb Downs, no surprise, the Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year. And you've talked during the season how team success can lead to some of that individual recognition.
Yeah, I think we're all happy for these guys to be recognized, but I think all of them would tell you that the most important thing for them is the team goals, and I think it's great that our guys are focused on that part of it. We all know what we have in this in the Woody, and I wish we could vote for everybody and get everybody on the first team, but that's unrealistic. And so good to see that everybody recognized. I actually think that there was more guys that could have been in the first team, second team, or even third team, but I'm their coach and a little biased. So but again, this is more about the team goals at the end of the season.
Well, it looked like everybody got recognized and started, even Peyton Pierce and Lorenzo Styles and Nichols. So everybody got some recognition throughout it. You had the defensive back of the year, you had the linebacker of the year, you had the defensive lineman of the year. I guess Matt Patricia did his job coming in here and getting those guys informed to go out and play.
That's right. No, that's exactly right. It's been fun to watch. I think I do think like sometimes some of these things should be done maybe as the season's over. You see the whole body of work. It's kind of for us, we still feel like we have so much football ahead of us. So to even be thinking about these things is sort of strange. But yeah, up until this point, everyone's doing their job, and we got to continue to do that.
A guy we know is going to get some recognition, Julian Sain, for the way he's played at quarterback. How do you see how he has progressed from week one to now?
Yeah, just the maturity at the day-to-day. He's become a vet. He's no longer a young player anymore. Just in his approach, the conversations he have, the way he commands the huddle is. Play on the field, the way he practices, all of the above. And that's what we're going to need here, veteran play down the stretch.
He said it felt like he was in high school again when he had to come over to the sidelines to get some plays there in that fourth quarter. You had to, feed him the plays and kind of go through that when the comms were down. But just to again, you got to be ready to go. Anything can happen in the game, and he was prepared, and he was jogging back and forth, getting the play, and going out there and executing and calling the play.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt too. Bring him, come on, run over here, and then that's what I did when I was in high school. And you kind of grab on the back of his shoulder pads, you call, and you kind of throw him back in there. And he liked it though. That's just he's a baller. He was in the moment. I'll give him. That's a it was the first time for everything. That's his first rivalry game, and first game playing in the snow, first time throwing an interception. And like all the different things that come for the first time. But for him, he was in the moment. He was locked in, and he obviously had a big part of leading us.
Can all of that, with the communication and what you had to deal with, help point out the importance of being prepared for every and any situation?
Yeah, that's it. There's so many things that can come into play, and as time goes on, you start to have a Rolodex in your head of trying to figure out what could happen, whether it's schematically or when guys maybe go down, or what can happen with your operation, and so you just try to do everything you can. Sometimes I think the players or even sometimes the coaches can think, well, you're paranoid about this, you're paranoid about that, and then but when you're ready when it goes, and when you talk about folks who go on missions in different areas, in the military, all they have is contingency plans, and once that contingency plan is in place, the minute something goes that way, they know exactly what to do, and no panic sets in. And so that's our job. That's our job, to make sure that when it happens, we've already sort of played it out in our mind, whether it's, having a slow start, or, something goes down, whether, it's a player or whatever it might be. So, when we can do that and nobody panics, then the players are allowed to stay focused and not get distracted.
I'm sure that consumes your mind, the what ifs, what if, right. And you have to. That's your job as a head coach, the coordinators, position coaches. You all have their what ifs, but your list is probably the biggest, going through all these scenarios, situations that could happen.
Yeah, because, you think about all three phases. You're thinking about your operation. You're thinking about, even coming home the other night, we're sitting.
What if the plane's delayed 5 hours?
Well, that's it. And so we're on the plane, and we're trying to get de-iced, and then we need two layers of de-ice, and the buses that were outside were waiting for us to take off. Well, then they had to run, they had to clear the runway off. So we're waiting for the runway to get cleared. By the time the runway was cleared off, they had to de-ice us again. Now we're back and forth. We're sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours. So at some point we had to make a decision, like, are we actually going to get out tonight, or are we going to have to get back on the buses and then drive back? So all these things come into play. You just never know what's going to happen, and so you're constantly trying to figure out what the best thing is to do for the better of the order. But that's just how it goes, and there's a lot of people counting on you to make sure everyone's doing their job within the organization, and I always say it's everyone's job to think like the head coach, so that you're helping solve problems. And when you think about it from that point of view, everyone's out in front of things. That allows us to move more efficiently.
We'll go back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. John in Hebron, how did the players react to the Brian Hartline news yesterday, especially those in the wide receiver room?
I think a lot of them, expected him to have opportunity, and I think it, sort of caught everybody a little bit off guard this week, how quickly it happened. It was on signing day, but that's not what Brian, had in his mind, I think, when he thought about this. This is just sort of college football right now, and we can all complain about it and talk about how it's sideways in terms of all that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm happy for him. This is a great opportunity for him, and we'll do a good job of focusing on winning this game this week. He's going to be a huge part of that this week. He's said he's going to give us his all this week to make sure we go win the Big Ten championship and then finish out the season the right way, and then we'll figure out, this is the great thing about being at Ohio State. You think about, the receiver room and, what we have coming back and what we have moving forward. It's an exciting time to be at Ohio State. So we'll have a lot of people, I think, that'll apply for the job, and we'll make sure we're thorough in our evaluation and get the feedback of some of the players, because I think it's, we did that when we hired Coach Locke. Travion and Quinshawn had a relationship with Coach Locke, and shoot, for the running backs coach, we probably interviewed 12 guys, between Chip and I, and then ended up with Locke. So we'll be thorough in this and make sure we bring in the right guy.
Every head coach starts as an assistant coach someplace, so that's a goal. And you're rooting for your guys. You'd like to see them all become head coaches eventually.
Exactly.
That's kind of part of the plan. You're coaching these guys up to be great coaches, and usually great coaches end up turning into head coaches. So, it's just the part of the growth as an assistant coach to see that happen. You can't hold on to them all forever.
No, and I now a little pressure on him to do well. So we got to keep this thing going because, you want to be able to look back. You look at, what Coach Meyer did and Coach Tressel, and you look at, Coach Saban. And, they had guys that worked for them that went on to have successful careers, and that's part of this profession. I had a lot of great coaches that helped me along my way, and so. As time goes on, it's great to have, be able to help others. And but he deserves it. He's put the work in, and he's going to do great.
Buckeye fans, everyone knows it's better to give than to receive. So what could be better than giving and receiving? For every $50 you give in Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Roosters bonus buck. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics and proud sponsor of the Ryan Day Show, make Roosters a part of your holidays. Roosters, a fun, casual, and merry joint. We'll have more with Coach Day when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong. You are fearless. You are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas, with Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
Picture it, your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps, spiced cider in every glass, laughter around every plate. At Kroger, we know these moments matter, and we make it easier to bring them to life with quality that's affordable in every aisle. This season, don't just host, make every moment unforgettable. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Buckeye football lives here. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. And welcome back to our show this week with Coach Ryan Day as Ohio State gets ready for the Big Ten Championship game in Indiana. We'll go back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. This comes from Jeff in Cleveland, and I know you're trying to move beyond last weekend, but Jeff wants to know, while there are probably several, do you have a favorite moment from this past weekend?
Yeah, when the clock hit zero. Coach Meyer came running on the sideline with like 3 minutes to go, gave me a huge hug. I'm like, if this was you, I said, you would have thrown me off the sideline. Okay, there's still 3 minutes to go in a game, in a rivalry game. You know how important this is, so it was funny. But, it was good to see the clock hit 0.
Coach, signing day was yesterday. It's been a busy week. I know that there's still some work to be done on that signing day. How are things, progressing? You're happy with everything and how it went?
Yeah, excellent. We still got a couple things we got to address, but it's different now because you have this transfer portal. And you see, if you look at some of the other teams across the country, like they're not even really signing many high school kids. They're just going to go all in the portal. And so we're looking for that balance. We want to make sure that we have a foundation here of guys that we're developing so we can sustain it over time. But, there is this whole nother, time where you have this portal. And so, we feel like we've addressed some really good things that we've set ourselves up in the future. There are some things that we're going to have to make sure we address in the portal. That's just how it goes. So I think our guys have worked really, really hard and, put together a really good class of really good people who want to be at Ohio State, who are really good football players. And we did a good job, I feel like, of evaluating their senior year to make sure that the guys that we're investing in are the right people, not only on the field but off the field.
Go back a year ago with the guys that were early enrollees and traveled with you during the postseason run. Are you seeing now some of the payoff of those guys being around the program at that time?
I actually think that helped us early in the season. Yeah. So, opening up with Texas and getting going early, it gave them a reference point. And, it's not the same. They changed the rules a little bit this year, so it won't be the same. We won't be able to do it like we did last year, but I did think it was beneficial.
Conference championship games, I know this is one of your goals to get back to Indianapolis to do this, but do you think that this is something that could eventually go away if they extend the playoffs? And, you're playing that 13th game. Some teams aren't playing the 13th game. You don't hope the 13th game can hurt you. You win, obviously it helps you. So, what are your thoughts on these championship games in the future?
Well, I've brought this up previously at some of the Big Ten meetings, but at this point, we're playing in the game, and this is important to be the 1 seed, and that's what we're going to focus on. I do think, though, that, what it means and how it plays in is something that needs to be discussed moving forward for sure. But, right now it's an opportunity to be the 1 seed, and that's the way we're looking at it. And so it's all, full steam ahead on this thing because, it really does matter to be the 1 seed when you look at it, when, who you're playing in the next round, getting a bye. There's certain things about, dictating maybe where a location would be because you're the 1 seed. There's a lot of benefits to this. So that's the focus right now, and that's what we're going to make sure that we're locked in on.
And from a logistical standpoint, Indianapolis, close location, but also it's a place that's been good to Ohio State in many recent years.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. I know that, Indiana's going to travel well. We're going to travel well. And the minute you walk in, you can just feel the electricity of that stadium. And I'm looking forward to our players getting a chance to experience that. Any
thought of maybe having the experience playing a team twice? Let's face it, these are the 1 and 2 teams in the country, and there's a great opportunity that you guys could meet up again. Any thoughts about that? I know your thoughts are all on what you're doing on Saturday, but down the road.
Well, we went through that last year with Oregon, and it is sort of like NFL football, where you may see a team down the road, once, twice, and it could be in the Big Ten championship. It wasn't this year, or it could be in the playoffs. That's just kind of the way things go, and so much different than it was in the past. But that's playoff football, and I think it's exciting for the fans.
Without giving anything away, but playing inside. Allow for a fast track and allow for some different things that you'd look as far as just a general approach to a game?
Yeah, it's just, the weather doesn't play into it. There's no wind, there's no rain, there's no snow. It's, the climate controlled. So it's clean and it's a fast track, which is great. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. We have to have the ability to go from, the game last week and what came with that, and then, to this game, and make that transition. So, we practiced, in the elements last week, leading up to it. And, and then this week we were all inside. We kind of cranked up the heat a little bit and practiced on the turf and on the fast track. And so, that's it. And, it's going to be great for our guys. Again, a fast, clean track is exciting for a lot of our guys.
Yeah, I could feel that heat yesterday watching practice. Coach Ferentz to start coming back for his 28th year. Coach Day, would you consider 28 years here at Ohio State? And RJ could probably be your quarterback coach, coordinator down the road. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm just trying to literally get through today. I mean, just think about that many games. Holy smoke, so much respect for him. I mean, it's, 1 year is like, dog years in college football, and every year, as we're all seeing, they become longer and longer. So, man, every time, you you'll see what Coach has done at Iowa. Like, it's just really, really impressive. And it's not just about the wins. It's about the way he treats people. It's the way he's kept his staff together. Coach Parker, like, for so long, like, you know, I haven't spent a ton of time with him, but obviously you know that he treats people the right way and the way his players are and the consistency year in and year out. So it's something that we certainly strive for here, because we know when you're at Ohio State, it's not just about, you know, one game or anything like that. It's about sustaining it throughout a period of time and making sure you're doing things the right way and winning with people. And so he's a great example of that for all of us to follow.
You know, we've talked about the success the players have had. When you think about this year, especially with your new additions, blow the trumpet about the coaching staff and your assistants and the job they've done this year.
Yeah, like, you know, I think we got the best coaching staff in the country. And, you know, we've worked hard on doing that. And, you know, these decisions that we make, you know, bringing guys in and making sure they're the right fit, you know, they're really critical, as we know. And I think the chemistry has rubbed off on our team. I think you just feel that with the staff. And that's a big deal, and we're counting on that to matter here down the home stretch.
Well, thank you as always for your time, and all the best come Saturday in Indy.
All right, guys.
That's Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. An equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. Up next, we'll talk with defensive lineman Kenyatta Jackson when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
'Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Roosters Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join partners American Electric Power, Donatos, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS-TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/BuckeyesCare. And welcome back to our show this week, and we get a chance to talk with defensive lineman Kenyatta Jackson. Thanks for your time. Congratulations. Honorable mention All Big Ten.
Thank you.
Congrats on that honor. Some of us thought it should have been a little higher, but we have some bias here. What was it like when the clock hit zeros in Ann Arbor last Saturday?
It felt great, man. A special moment between, the guys and myself. Years past, we fell short a couple of times, and, just to get over that hump finally, man, it was real special.
It's got to be special for you and Caden. Both you guys are seniors, inside battling. You guys have been here together for a long time. But just to go through, you guys are both dominant edge football players and playing for the same team. And it's almost a race to get to the quarterback.
Yeah. It's a race every day, even in practice, man. We tell each other before, every snap, see you at the quarterback or see you in the backfield. And, it shows up on Saturdays.
How does it feel when you guys, especially those first four of you, are playing off of one another to make all of those things happen?
We just don't play selfish football. We play as one unit. Coach Johnson, he really tells us, each and every day just to play together. And once we play together, everything will take care of itself. So, yeah.
You're playing over tackles. Sometimes you'll get inside and, be on the outside shoulder of a guard. When you're preparing film, is that who you're looking at? Are you looking at a side? Are you looking at the whole unit? Are you looking at both tackles, both guards? Tell the people, that are listening how you prepare in your film study for an opponent.
At first I start, looking at the offense, what type of runs they do, and then I'll proceed to go to the offensive line. I'll look at across the whole board, from tackle to tackle, guard to guard, and the center. Because I play everywhere, within the defensive line. So I look at everybody, and then, I just pick the little tendencies of what they do and how they get beat, per se, and then, go from there.
When you think about, and especially in a game like this coming weekend, with a quarterback that can be mobile, how does that go into how you approach the whole plan, Kenyatta?
Coach Patricia, he tells us, we've been playing athletic quarterbacks this whole season. Right. So, and our motto when we play an athletic quarterback is cage the pocket. Make him play quarterback, but cage the pocket within, the line, so he don't have no lanes to, scramble and make plays with his feet.
I know you whipped out that bull rush last week, and that seemed to be paying off. You drove the left tackle right into the quarterback's lap, Underwood. What is your favorite move? Do you like the bull, or do you like the speed, or you like the rip or club, or what do you like to do?
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, whatever works, to be honest.
Do you have that thought in mind before you get up there?
No, I just
You read a set.
Yeah, I just try to make him do, whatever. If he shoot hands, I'll use hand moves. If he doesn't, then I'll just, use a long arm or bull rush. It doesn't matter.
Kenyatta, you mentioned moving around at different spots on the line. We see some of the other guys do that too. Mm-hmm. Without giving anything away, what kind of goes into play in making that switch from, say, end to playing inside?
I don't think there's no huge, huge switch. Pretty much you just use the same technique. It's just probably in the inside there's lesser space than the outside, but same technique. It doesn't really change.
Okay.
How's it been with Larry Johnson all 4 years?
It's great. It's great, man.
What's he tell us the influence that he's had on you?
He has a huge influence, man. I tell people all the time. I can really call him another grandfather if I wanted to. That's how close we are. I'm truly blessed and honored, that he came down to South Florida and he recruited me, and he had, gave me a chance to play at The Ohio State University. I'm truly blessed, and he has a huge impact on my life.
And it's kind of the same question with Coach Patricia now this year.
Yeah, just coming in for a couple of months. Just how close we have. He has gotten with the guys and myself. It's truly incredible just to the time that he's been here. And I mean, we say this all the time. Like, we never had that type of relationship with the the previous defensive coordinator. But just to him coming in here only in a couple of months and building that close relationship with us is special.
How was that transition coming from Florida, playing down in Miami and then making a trip up here to
As
Columbus?
you're looking at snow outside.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough the first couple of years. It was tough, but you have no choice but to get used to it. I mean, you gotta be tough, and I think I became tough.
We talked with Coach Day about how getting to Indianapolis is one of these team's goals, and it's been so long. What's kind of been the feeling like once you knew that you were going to get a chance to play in this game this weekend?
I mean, I think everybody, once, the game in Ann Arbor was done, I think everybody, mindset quickly changed to, Indy right away. I mean, this team don't have no hardware. I mean, we have hardware from the last game, and that was goal one. But this is goal two, and I mean, we have a huge chance to, get some more hardware and, do things that other teams haven't done.
What's it like having guys like Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese and Peyton Pierce playing behind you at linebacker?
I mean, it makes things pretty easy. I mean, once you do your job on the line and, the running back or the quarterback sees 0, 8, or 26 behind us and he's scared to, make a move, I mean, it makes life real easy for us.
Kind of the same thing going up against the offensive line you go up against in practice every day.
Oh, yeah, they get us better. Those guys, I mean, it's a war each and every day. It may seem like we don't like each other during practice, but, one Saturday come, we're a team, we're a family, and that's all that matters.
Who do you think on the defense, does the most of talking? I mean, we hear a lot about Davidson and Jermaine. They kind of go back and forth, but I kind of think Caleb Downs would be one of those vocal leaders too. I
mean, of course. He's. I mean, I'll say he's the IQ of the team. He's pretty smart. But you have IGB, you have Jermaine that does all the rah talking and stuff like that, and they bring the energy to the defense for sure.
Kenyatta, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it. All the best come Saturday in Indianapolis.
Thank you for having me.
That is defensive lineman Kenyatta Jackson. To join us Saturday as Ohio State takes on Indiana. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 6:30 p.m. The Ryan Day Show has been presented by Roosters and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, by the American Dairy Association Mideast. For Skip Mossick, Colin Behringer, Cole Bartimas, Jim Lachey, Coach Ryan Day, and Kenyatta Jackson. This is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.